Well, I'm here, first day in the new job. They told me I'd done right well in alpha globin, so they promoted me to supervisor of beta globin. I've had 23 coffees already this morning. At least the canteen's well stocked. I'm kind of nervous. I've heard some things about beta globin, but they can't be true, right? Probably just my old pals in alpha globin joking with me. There's always been this big rivalry over who completes the orders the fastest. It's silly, really. Just like the boss says, we might be making different subunits, but they're all part of the same hemoglobin product. It's not looking good. I had a meeting with the boss. She said we've been having a lot of complaints about our product, and if it doesn't improve, the customer will end up doing an import of red blood cells again. I couldn't believe it. I'd heard rumours of imports, but up until now I didn't know they really happened. Al, my old supervisor from Alpha Globin, was outraged. He said there's nothing wrong with our hemoglobin, and the boss said, well, there jolly well must be something wrong if we're getting complaints. Al said there's nothing wrong with the alpha chains my team make. Then he looked at me. You, he said, it must be your fault. There's got to be something wrong with the beta chains. And I said, how dare you make such an accusation? Well, that's what I would have said if the boss hadn't have interrupted and yelled that we'd both be fired if we didn't find the problem quick. On the way back down the corridor, I said to Al, well, what's the worst that can happen? Is the world gonna end if the hemoglobin's got a few mistakes? And he looked at me and said, listen, we've all heard of that cell that made, I cut him off, too many mistakes and committed apoptosis. Yeah, we've all heard that story 1,000,000 times. Well, I've been checking all day. I can't find any mistakes. No more than the usual anyway. Matches the messenger RNA just fine. Something weird's going on here. Well, it happened. The customer has only gone and put in an order for some new red blood cells without even consulting us. I know the customer's always right, but we hardly got a chance to investigate properly, did we? Al said he didn't find any problems with the alpha product, and then he looked at me accusingly. I thought he was my mate. But no matter what he might think, there's nothing wrong with the beta globin. Not that I can see anyway. So I had a word with my team. None of them seemed to have a clue, other than the longest serving member. She said, I've always said our factory wasn't set up right. Something was wrong with the blueprints. Back in the old days, I used to work on gamma globin line. Never had no complaints about the alpha gamma hemoglobin. I shook my head. But the gamma globin line's been decommissioned for years now. The old timer tutted. Should have kept it going, but no one listens to me. So you know what I did? I got on the phone to HQ. After an hour of listening to the same song going round and round on hold, I finally got through to one of the transcription interns. But as soon as I mentioned gamma globin, he hung up. Something fishy's going on here. I'm gonna find out what. He called me back. That intern from HQ started wittering about people in his department going missing. And I said, well, that's weird, but what's it got to do with us? Then he said he'd heard something about crisps. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? And then he said he had to go. Anyway, I thought, that's an idea. I quite fancy some crisps. But now I think about it, I hadn't got around to properly telling him about my idea to reopen the Gamma Globin line. You know, make a product that actually works. I thought people were supposed to listen to you when you're in management. You never guess what? I got here as normal this morning, and they've only gone and decommissioned the beta globin line. My heart sank. I thought I was a goner. I was surely gonna be fired, or worse. But they put me in charge of the newly reopened Gamma Globin line. The old timer kept on repeating, "Told you so," whenever I was in earshot. And then I realised that phone call to HQ must have worked. It must have just sounded like they weren't interested. Yeah, just pretending. They work in some mysterious ways up there. But I did it. I told you I'd turn this place around. It was all thanks to my hard work. Yep, that's what it was. The boss is really happy with us for once. Says the customer won't need to do any more of them expensive imports of red blood cells from outside again. Isn't that great? I popped in to see my old pals at the Alpha Globin factory. Al wandered over, looking pretty smug. "Told you so," he said. "Told you there was something wrong with your line." "And it was thanks to me that the problem was found," I told him. Al looked at me and asked, "Well, what was the problem?" Good question. Well, I've been reading a book on management, so I said to him, "That's a trade secret." What was the problem though? How did they know to reopen the Gamma line? Must have been reading my mind.